Capacity and supply chain management. The bullwhip effect and its mitigation. Value chains and supply chains. Supply chain network design. Supplier relationship management. Risk management in supply chains. Capacity and supply chain management represent fundamental elements of efficient operations management. Capacity management assists organizations in fulfilling present and future demands through the optimization of resources. Effective supply chain management integrates key functions such as procurement, production, logistics, and distribution, ensuring that the right products are delivered at the right time, in the right quantities, and at the lowest possible cost. Introduction to supply chain management. In today's interconnected global economy, the journey of a product from its rawest form to the hands of the end consumer is a complex and often intricate web of activities. Understanding and effectively managing this network is the essence of supply chain management. Let's see definition. The discipline of supply chain management integrates the planning, execution, and control of every activity, from sourcing and purchasing to conversion and all logistical functions. It also encompasses coordination and collaboration with network participants, including suppliers, intermediaries, third-party service providers, and end customers. Supply chain management, purpose and objective. The overarching purpose of supply chain management is to create net value, build a competitive infrastructure, building resilience, leverage worldwide logistics and synchronize supply with demand, measure performance globally, improving efficiency, streamlining processes to reduce waste, minimize costs, and optimize resource utilization across the entire chain. Increasing responsiveness involves making the supply chain more agile and flexible. Ensuring quality, maintaining consistent quality standards for products and services throughout the supply chain. Optimizing customer value, delivering the right products at the right time, in the right place, and at the right price, thereby maximizing customer satisfaction. Supply chain management, process flow. While specific supply chains vary significantly across industries, a typical process flow involves several key stages. Planning. This stage involves determining the best way to meet anticipated demand. It encompasses demand forecasting, capacity planning, supply planning, and setting strategic goals for the supply chain. Sourcing involves selecting suppliers to deliver the goods and services needed to create the product. It includes supplier evaluation, negotiation, and managing supplier relationships. Making, production. This stage involves the manufacturing or conversion process, where raw materials are transformed into finished products. It encompasses production scheduling, quality control, and process optimization. Process flow continues with delivering, logistics. This stage covers the movement and storage of goods. It includes warehousing, transportation, order fulfillment, and distribution to customers. Returning. This involves handling defective and excess products, including returns, repairs, and recycling of these items. Enabling. This overarching stage supports the supply chain through information systems, finance, human resources, and other crucial functions. Supply chain management system, the structure. A supply chain management system is a structured approach to managing the end-to-end flow of materials, information, and finances across suppliers, manufacturers, distributors, and customers. It comprises interconnected processes and technologies to enhance efficiency, visibility, and collaboration. Supply chain management system elements. An effective supply chain management system comprises several key performing structures. 1. Planning and forecasting, demand planning, inventory optimization, and resource allocation to align supply with demand. 2. Sourcing and procurement, supplier selection, contract management, and purchasing of raw materials. 3. Production and operations, manufacturing processes, capacity utilization, and quality control. 4. Logistics and transportation, warehousing, distribution, and management of inbound and outbound logistics. 5. Inventory management, stock control, just-in-time systems, and safety stock optimization. 6. Information systems, ERP, IoT, and blockchain for real-time tracking and data analytics. 7. Customer relationship management, order fulfillment, returns management, and customer feedback integration. The bullwhip effect and its mitigation. The bullwhip effect, a widely recognized concept in supply chain management, describes how small shifts in consumer demand can lead to significantly larger swings in demand as one moves further up the supply chain, from retailer to wholesaler to manufacturer. These stages encompass wholesale, distribution, manufacturing, and the supply of raw materials. The analogy of a bullwhip is used because a slight flick of the wrist, representing a change in customer demand, can cause a large crack at the end of the whip, representing the amplified orders placed by upstream supply chain participants. Value chains and supply chains. A supply chain encompasses the network of organizations, individuals, activities, information, and resources involved in transporting a product or service from the supplier to the customer. It covers all stages involved, either directly or indirectly, in fulfilling a customer request. Think of it as a way of getting things done and delivered. Conversely, a value chain represents a more comprehensive concept that focuses on the series of activities a firm undertakes to design, produce, market, deliver, and support its products or services. The primary focus in this context is creating value at each stage for the customer. While a supply chain is a key component, the value chain also considers internal firm activities and the overall strategic intent of adding value. Every value chain has an embedded supply chain, but not every supply chain constitutes a strategically realized value chain. Purpose and objective. The primary purpose of understanding value and supply chains is to optimize the flow of goods, services, and information while maximizing value creation and minimizing waste. Efficiency, streamlining processes within and across organizations. Effectiveness, meeting customer needs and expectations. Value enhancement. Increasing the perceived worth of the product or service. Cost reduction, identifying and eliminating non-value-adding activities. Responsiveness, adapting quickly to changes in demand and supply. Sustainability. Supply chain strategies. A well-defined supply chain strategy is the backbone of efficient operations management. It's not just about logistics, it encompasses a holistic approach to managing relationships with suppliers, optimizing production, and delivering value to customers. Purpose and objective. The fundamental purpose of a supply chain strategy is to create a competitive advantage by aligning the supply chain's capabilities with the overall business strategy. The key objectives include meeting customer needs, delivering products or services promptly and efficiently to meet or exceed customer expectations for quality, quantity, and cost. Optimizing costs, minimizing total supply chain costs, including procurement, production, transportation, warehousing, and inventory management. Improving efficiency, streamlining processes, reducing waste, and enhancing responsiveness throughout the supply chain. Enhancing agility and resilience, cultivating the capacity to swiftly adapt to fluctuations in demand, supply disruptions, and market dynamics. Encourage collaboration, building strong, collaborative relationships with suppliers and distributors to improve information sharing and optimize performance. Supply chain strategies, process flow. It typically involves the following iterative process. 1. Understanding the business strategy. The supply chain strategy must intrinsically link to the overarching business goals, target markets, and value proposition. 2. Analyzing the current supply chain. This involves thoroughly assessing existing capabilities, infrastructure, performance metrics, and partner relationships to identify areas for improvement, SWOT analysis. 3. Defining strategic objectives. Based on the business strategy and current state analysis, establish clear and measurable objectives for the supply chain. These might include targets for cost reduction, lead time improvement, or inventory turnover. 4. Formulating strategic options. Explore different strategic approaches. 5. Cost leadership, focusing on minimizing costs throughout the supply chain. 6. Differentiation, emphasizing unique product features or superior service through a responsive supply chain. 7. Focus. Targeting a specific market segment with a tailored supply chain approach. 8. Agility, building a flexible and responsive supply chain to adapt to changing customer demands. 9. Resilience, designing a supply chain that can withstand disruptions and recover quickly. 10. Selecting the optimal strategy, evaluate the various strategic options based on their alignment with business objectives, feasibility, and potential impact. 11. Developing implementation plans, clearly articulate the precise actions, resources, and timelines required to execute the selected strategy. This encompasses determinations related to sourcing, production, distribution, and technology. 12. Implementation and surveillance. 13. Conduct regular evaluations of the supply chain strategy's effectiveness and implement necessary adjustments in response to changing market conditions, technological advancements, or evolving business requirements. Capacity planning strategies. Capacity planning stands as a cornerstone of effective operations and supply chain management. It involves determining the production capacity needed by an organization to meet fluctuating demands for its products. Choosing the right capacity planning strategy is crucial for balancing costs, responsiveness, and effectively utilizing resources. Purpose and objective. The primary purpose of understanding capacity planning strategies is to equip operations managers with the knowledge to make informed decisions about meeting customer demand while optimizing resource utilization. Purpose and objective include: identify and delineate various capacity planning strategies. Breakdown of the pros and cons of each approach. What factors play a role in choosing a particular strategy? Illustrate the practical application of these strategies through real-world examples. Emphasize the key takeaways for effective capacity planning. The selection and implementation of capacity planning, process flow, typically follows a structured process. 1. Demand forecasting. Accurately predicting future demand is the initial and most critical step. It involves analyzing historical data, market trends, seasonality, and other relevant factors. 2. Capacity assessment. Evaluating the organization's current capacity, including equipment, labor, and infrastructure, is crucial for identifying gaps or areas of surplus. 3. Strategy identification. Various strategies are considered based on the demand forecast and capacity assessment. 4. Strategy evaluation. Each potential strategy is evaluated based on cost, flexibility, customer service levels, and risk. 5. Strategy selection. The most suitable strategy is chosen based on the evaluation criteria and the organization's overall objectives. 6. Implementation. The chosen strategy is implemented, which may involve investments in new equipment, hiring or training personnel, or modifying existing processes. 7. Monitoring and control. The effectiveness of the implemented strategy is continuously monitored, and adjustments are made as needed to adapt to changing conditions. Risk management in supply chains. Supply chains are susceptible to many disruptions in today's interconnected and increasingly complex global landscape. From natural disasters and geopolitical instability to supplier bankruptcies and cyber attacks. Therefore, effective risk management within the supply chain is no longer a peripheral concern but a core competency for operational excellence. Purpose and objective. The objective is to build a resilient and agile supply chain that can withstand unforeseen events, minimize their impact, and ensure business continuity. By understanding and effectively managing risks, organizations can protect their revenue streams, maintain customer satisfaction, safeguard their reputation, and gain a competitive edge. Risk management in supply chains, process flow. A supply chain risk management process typically involves the following stages. 1. Risk identification. 2. Risk assessment. 3. Risk mitigation. 4. Risk monitoring and control. Key takeaways. Supply chain risk management is crucial for building resilient and agile operations. A systematic identification, assessment, mitigation, and monitoring process is essential for effective risk management. Continuous monitoring and adaptation are vital for ensuring the ongoing effectiveness of risk management efforts. Remember, the more you learn, the more you earn. Never stop learning. Life never stops teaching.